5 days ago, I optimized my website for the keyword AI schema generator. That caused my rankings to jump from position 14 to position 5, where I am now. And actually, if I go to Firefox, I am actually ranking number 3 behind these 2 other websites. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the 5 things that you need to do in order to optimize your website. My name is Jesper Nissen, and I've been doing SEO since 2008. And I'm the owner and founder of Yax, the leading platform for cloud links, and Schemawriter, the leading platform for schema. So my list is here. It's all about keywords and entities. Number 1 is keyword SEO. Number 2 is entity SEO. Number 3 is the entity gap. Number 4 is schema. And number 5 is the bonus so-called schema entity SEO. So the first tip that I have for you is that you need to identify the keyword that you want to rank for. And then you need to make sure that you insert it in these 6 places, 5 or 6 places. So the URL, title, the meta title, the H1, the H2, and the body. So I'm trying to optimize the homepage for this keyword. It's not possible for me to change the URL. If you're optimizing an existing blog post, you won't be able to insert the keyword in the URL. For obvious reasons, you can't change the URL. But if you're creating a new blog post, I advise you to try to incorporate the keyword into the URL because it is a ranking factor. The title and the meta title is something that you can edit. If you have a WordPress website, you can easily edit these guys here. And the H1, H2, and the body, that's just the content in the blog post that you're writing. So tip number 2, entity SEO. An entity is a keyword that has a Wikipedia page. And the reason that entities are important in SEO is because we know that Google is actually reading all of the pages in Wikipedia, and Google is actually using Wikipedia to train their knowledge graph. So what this means is that all the body of knowledge that's included in the Wikipedia pages somehow has a special place in Google's heart because it's a core part of their knowledge graph and their basic understanding of the corpus of human knowledge, so to speak. So let's say that I want to rank for AI schema generator. So what I would do in order to identify these entities is I would go to Google, I would search for AI schema generator Wikipedia. Because then I'll be able to see the most important entities, the most important entities that Google thinks are important. So you can see I'm searching for AI schema generator Wikipedia, and number 1 results that Google is showing me is the Wikipedia page for generative artificial intelligence. So it might be a good idea, if I want to rank for this keyword, it actually might be a very good idea for me to include this in the text. Especially if it's possible, especially it makes sense in the H1 or the H2 or in the beginning of the text. And if I scroll down, I can actually see that we have the artificial intelligence optimization. That's also, and what I am normally also doing is I'm searching for variations of my keyword. So I could search for AI schema markup generator. In this case, I would see different Wikipedia entities. I would see now we have this template. I don't know what that is. So yeah, I actually don't know what this is, but I do see we have schema.org. And yeah, so if I go down to page 2, on page 3, I'll probably see more Wikipedia entities. So that's the way that you find these entities manually. If you do have access to Schemawriter, it's very simple. You just run the report. You go in and let's see here, this guy here. So this is the report that I ran 4 days ago. And I can click on this entity tab and I can see actually all of the entities in my own website, which is the homepage of Schemawriter, and then all of the entities in the competition websites. So Schemawriter actually does the sorting for me, but I can also manually select the entities that I want to include in my content. And you can actually see what it looks like here, that this is my article, this is the text on the homepage, and these are all the entities that we see here. So that's tip number 2. So tip number 3 is the entity gap. So the entity gap are the entities that your competition has or have that you don't have. We're talking about the top 10 websites, right? You want to rank as high as possible in page 1 in Google. That's what we're talking about. So you identify the number of entities that you have, and you identify the number of entities that all the websites in page 1 has. And the way to do this manually is to actually go to ChatGPT, copy all of the text in your own website, put it into ChatGPT, and ask it to output the entities. And then ChatGPT will try to do that. And you can do that with all the other competition websites also. And then you can ask ChatGPT, well, what do they have that I don't? And then you know actually what the entity gap is. Of course, if you do have access to Schemawriter, you can simply go in and we find it manually for you. What's the entity gap? These are all the keywords. What I do is I try to write some content that actually includes these entities. ChatGPT, write a short article including these entities. And then I could copy these guys here. Good. So this could actually be my prompt for ChatGPT. So write a short article including these entities. So then ask ChatGPT to write this content, proofread it afterwards for AI, remove all visible signs of AI content because we don't want that, and paste that into your website. So what I'm seeing is that even without doing keyword SEO, even without doing entity SEO, just by inserting this entity gap content, you will actually see your page rank a little bit higher. So step number 4 is schema, and you have 2 options. You can either use ChatGPT or of course use Schemawriter. I obviously use Schemawriter, but if you don't have access, you can simply go to ChatGPT. You can copy, that's what I would do, copy the entire text of your website, of your web page, paste it into ChatGPT, ask it to read it. So read this text, write me SEO optimized web page schema for this text, be sure to include relevant entities. And the entities, I already explained how to find these guys up here. Go to Google and search for your keyword and Wikipedia, and then paste these guys in. So in this case, most of the times you will actually get a very good piece of web page content, a web page schema. The only thing that you need to do is you need to go to the validator in schema.org, because I do know, and it is known, that sometimes ChatGPT makes mistakes. We all know that when ChatGPT outputs something, we all know that it's always 100% sure that it's the best answer in the world. But we also know that it does make mistakes. And especially in schema, if you make mistakes, it's just not valid and Google will not understand it. So you do need to go to schema.org validator in order to validate your schema. The last step involves taking the entities that your web page has in the content. You can see here my web page text has schema, it has JSON LD, and it has web page, and all of these entities that are marked with colors here that you can see. Entity optimized web page schema means that these entities will actually be incorporated into the web page schema. So that is something that Schemawriter does. We can actually just open and see here. Let's see here. So these are some of the entities. And just a piece of advice is that you might not want to include too many entities in the schema, because we don't want to confuse Google. And we don't just want to confuse the crawlers. It's not only Google, but the other search engines that are also reading the schema. So you might not want to include 50 or 100 entities. So let's say that you have a very long piece of text and you identify, I don't know, 50 or 100 entities. I'm not recommending that you are including 100 different entities in the schema, because the role of the about is to disambiguate what your text is about. What that means is that you need to spell out to Google, this is what my page is about. This and only this. In my case, JSON LD, schema.org, Google APIs, and so on and so forth. You can see it with your own eyes here. So that's what you need to know, that you need to be able to select the entities, put them into the web page schema, identify the entities in your content. So if you're using ChatGPT, try to modify this prompt and ask it to include these entities in the web page schema. So there you have it, guys. That was the tips for today and the 5 things that you need to do to optimize your pages to rank higher in Google. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.